Two-time Emmy and Grammy-winning comedian. She is one of a kind, and dare I say, a woman I've had a crush on for many a year. The only Kathy Griffin. Kathy, it's so good to see you.
Oh, I love her. I'm going to do, in social distancing, I'm my own crowd. Oh my God, she's here in person.
Don't worry, I'm going to put in applause. I'm going to put in all this stuff like roaring laughter, and the fans are going to go wild for this.
Yeah, I would like a safe standing ovation. Now, I want you to know that I'm still working, I'm doing my own hair and makeup. Can you imagine my level? Unimaginable. But I'm trying to set the bangs, and I was hoping you would accept me as I am. So I'm going to do the big reveal, and we'll see. This is a very deep topic. I hope you can keep up.
I accept you in full. Now, what do those things do? Let's explain to everyone. What are those big clips? Those clips are normally
by the way,
like
as if everyone watching isn't a hairdresser. Okay, so or a hag like myself. These are just clips that aren't like really like hard. So I'm now going to use some powder that was given to me personally by a lady named Stevie Nicks.
Oh, we gotta love that.
Name dropping right off the gate, honey, right off the gate. And so I'm just trying to figure out how, everybody else, how to keep the thing going. But I thought, you know what, for Thomas, I'll leave the clips in. What do you think? Do I shake my head or can I keep it?
It looks great. It's adorable. It's perfect. And is that how you keep your hair? Is that how you keep your hair so naturally curly all the time?
This is my real hair. This is just, I'm giving in, honey. I am giving in. I got the lashes on for you. But I'm just scrunching, and this is who I am. And I don't want to go back to blow drying my hair or any of that old world stuff. Oh, I want to ask you, do you have a pre-COVID, the movement, financial situation? Like, do you have a word for like old world and new world, or like,
No, not really. I mean,
I'm curious to see how people refer to this time. Like, I kind of
like BC, like before Christ and stuff, before COVID, after COVID.
Kind of, because, really this thing, for me personally, obviously, I'm very open about having a huge problem with this administration. And, then all these things piling on. Remember how long for 3 years people kept saying like, well, how's he going to handle, like, he hasn't really been tested yet. So he had done quite a bit of damage. So, which gets me to nice ruling on Monday from the Supreme Court.
I know.
I don't have total faith in Neil Gorsuch. I just want to, I know that the centrists are going to be like, oh, he's not so bad. My fear is that John Roberts, who, in my humble liberal opinion, didn't take the impeachment nearly seriously as he could have, et cetera. But my fear is Gorsuch, gave us this one, but then he that gives will taketh away.
Right.
And so
it's like candy trading behind.
Yeah, so I'm afraid the next bill, which will probably affect either LGBT folks or it all affects all of us, then I'm afraid Gorsuch will be the one to, whether it's, an important healthcare bill or an equality bill or well, I don't know how they're going to go to the Supreme Court with police reform, because it isn't just police reform, but it's a lot. So how do you take it in? You're a smart guy. You've dealt with this stuff. How do you process it?
Today is a big win, because I think that, we look at this or what happened this week is a big win. We look at this in the greater picture of things. And with marriage equality, while that was a huge win, and it got me that Emmy back up there for our breaking news coverage, this really deals with everybody in the community. So that you can have a job and you can feel safe in that job. Not everybody's going to want to get married, So, I mean, this is a really big deal. And certainly for people that are living in the shadows, or they're living in fear of being.
How about people being, I fear people being put back into the shadows too. I really feel, it's been a long time, I lovingly say my gays because I'm such an old hag. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I haven't been this worried about my gays since I started decades ago. Learning what canvassing is and stuff like that. So it's, I have a mommy feeling of, still guys, you don't know where it's coming from. And as a whitey, I get it. I'm not invited to the cookout. I didn't earn it. That's, I get it. But I do think, like you said, the Supreme Court decision on Monday, I think these things are happening because more and more regular people, meaning either white or straight or religious or not, they do know these people. They know gay people. And I'm hoping that as part of the BLM movement, with or without the Supreme Court, because we don't know how that's going to stay, but I'm hoping we can just keep making strides forward in that direction, because same thing, you know, I think it's obviously the brown, I love the browning of America. It's like, great. We actually haven't been doing such a great job running stuff, especially the men, no offense, except you.
No, look, I mean, get more women, get more everybody than who's been there. Because the only people that are going to change systemic racism in America are white people calling out other white people and getting white people out of positions where they get to make policy, and letting other people get into those positions where they know where they've been left out before and
they live it.
Change.
Yeah, they live it. And so I have to say I'm feeling a lot of optimism about the kids. I loved when David Chappelle said, you know, I don't want to drive the car. You guys are doing such a good job of driving the car. I'm happy to sit in the back seat if you need me, you know. But yeah, I want to think that, you know, positive stuff will come out of this insane phase.
Well, and that's why it was really important to do Gay Good News, to do this type of show, and to have on people from the LGBTQ community, and to have on our straight allies, so that we don't let June Pride go by without the recognition for the achievements that we've gotten, and for, you know, all the hard work that still needs to be done. Because, you know, the minute that we get complacent or take our eye off the ball, that's when, you know, you lose stuff, you know. And
well, we're seeing it before our very eyes. I mean, I am, you know, 59 years old, and truly never in my lifetime did I, and I kind of vaguely remember Watergate because it was such a big deal in our house, meaning we were all Dems and everything. But this is, you know, Gloria Steinem, if I can quote her, I'm doing a lot of name dropping. She has this great thing. I saw her say it in a speech, and she's also, you know, believes it. She goes, you know, this is it, guys. And she did this great speech about, this is it. Like, everybody knows there are gay people, there are Black people, there are Indigenous people. And she was saying that, kind of, I shouldn't speak for her, but intimating that the Caucasian community, like, this was the moment that it like just occurred to a lot of white people, like, wait a minute, there's other people out there that aren't exactly like me. So we're all hoping that there's a tandem moment, but I do understand, like, I get it. Like, if the BLM movement says, hey, we don't want to do a combo BLM and Pride because we're kind of working so hard on this lane. And I really respect that the gay community didn't get like offended. And yet, look what happened. It was I live in Los Angeles, I should reveal that. But yesterday, on Sunday, when the gay Pride happened, and BLM marches have been happening every day, night, there was, I thought, a really respectful integration. Like, I didn't feel like the gay community tried to do it like last year with like the DJ booths and all that other stuff. And honey, don't even start with me, because I go back to LA Gay Pride when the streets were still open, when some of the guys would dress up as Dupar's waitresses. Then there were the guys that dressed up as cheerleaders. They would actually, what's funny is watching, well, funny, because you got to look for comedy to everything, is watching the news of how protesters are like closing down streets.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh girl, the gays have been doing that for Pride Fest every year. Are you kidding? You got a drag queen with a fabulous outfit. She is out there twirling in front of a car. And I remember one of the first times I went to Pride in Los Angeles, like seriously, like in the, I guess it would be the mid 80s or something like that. I'll never forget, there was this couple driving down Santa Monica Boulevard. I'm just gonna say they just looked like, oh, I didn't know quite what was happening. And, you know, literally it was just like guys dancing in the street, and there were the dolphin shorts and the hags and, you know, all the whole thing. And this drag queen just goes up to this car. I don't know why it was so funny. Just goes, "You're not in Kansas anymore." And it wasn't scary. It was just cute and kitschy. And the people weren't scared, and no police shot anybody, and there were no rubber bullets. So one thing I think is that I'm just so, I do feel optimistic when it comes to the LGBTQ community. And I'll say it, it's the same reason I've always said, and I say this as a happy and sometimes bitter feminist. When I'm talking to my feminist girlfriends, I'm always going, we have to learn from the LGBT community. They know how to mobilize. They get people elected. They vote down ballot. And so I will say the one thing that's gratifying is hearing so many people get excited about voting down ballot, because I am all down ballot all the time. Frankly, I think Mitch McConnell is probably worse for the community right now than even Trump, because he's the one who's stopping any progress from even reaching the Senate floor. How are the gays sort of getting getting through this phase. I mean, besides, of course, everyone wants to get laid way more. And OnlyFans.
Isolation makes you horny, apparently. Isolation.
Yeah, OnlyFans has blown up. I mean, influencers are just OnlyFans. But like, do you feel like as a gay man in the community, there's like, you fear things are getting more conservative again, or do you feel a little hopeful, or what?
I think I feel hopeful, and that's the way we've always got to feel. That's also the reason, again, why I wanted to do something like this, because I was feeling kind of down. I was feeling kind of blue about where we were as a country, and things that are coming down the line at us, and especially with the election in November. And that after isolation, we aren't going to have a minute to take the month of June that we annually do, to have these moments to celebrate achievement and celebrate members of the community. To know and mark those milestones, and to have that kind of be blunted the way that it has been, and rightfully so because of COVID. But to have that blunted, I don't want people to forget. I just don't want people to lose track of where we've been and how far we still need to go.
And also, I really believe this. I believe the LGBT community, perhaps more than any other community in the United States, in my humble opinion, is the best at keeping awareness going, keeping stories personal. And so honestly, I look to the gay community as a template for, like I said, just as a woman and as a feminist, and for other groups as well. So it is, I will say, it is hopeful that, you don't hear certain gasps anymore when you say, oh, I have a friend who's trans, those, at least those days are over, at least,
let's hope so.
LA or something
really
like that.
Hope so. I mean, because 2020, for the most part, has sucked.
Oh my God.
Has really sucked. And
I don't even have a phrase for it. It's just like WTF.
Yeah, and I know it's been tough for you. We lost Maggie.
Yeah.
I know on Wednesday you put up a really nice post for your mom, who would have been 100.
100. I know.
That's
so
crazy.
It's so hard, because I totally I don't expect people to feel like, okay, Kathy, you had her until she was 99. Like, what are you complaining about? It's just that particular disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, I don't even know which one she had. Frankly, they seem pretty similar, but it always hurts when it goes and it gets someone's mind is so whip smart. Yeah. So I get it. She was older, and the walker and stuff, the other old age stuff, that didn't really get her. But I think it's just sad losing a beautiful mind. If I can quote a film.
Your biggest fan in heaven now. You've got this guardian angel that's looking down over you to, clear any brush out of your way for the rest of 2020. So tell us what Kathy Griffin is up to for 2020, the rest of 2020.
Okay, first of all, it's bizarre. So just like I'm sure everybody else is like, okay, what do we do? So I will tell you that I have been out pitching shows, and when I say out, I mean sitting in this chair virtually pitching shows. One thing that I have 2 shows out now. I mean, who knows? But anyway, one thing is, I have to be honest. I found a lot of people that I'm pitching to kind of don't acknowledge COVID. Like, I actually pitched a show that I thought could be like a socially distant show, but not, looking really obvious in a way and stuff. And we'll see. But they were kind of like, oh, like, I've just been hearing a lot of like, we think the, TV season or whatever, it'll be delayed like 2 weeks. So I admit I have a little bit, I have to be honest. I feel that in Los Angeles, we're not really taking it as seriously as my New York friends. And for example, they report the cases and deaths every day on the news, but they don't say like where the clusters are. And, so I, for one, am pitching a lot, and all my pitches and anything I have in mind is for when everything is safe. So I'm not going to be that first one doing a gig at a casino on the first weekend, because, we just don't know anything.
There's no reason.
Just don't know anything.
Yeah, there's no reason to gamble like that.
Right.
No reason whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. So touring, though, I mean, that's on hold forever?
Touring is on hold. Well, we don't know what it's going to be. I mean, I have some ideas about how to do a special literally in my house and, sort of make that part of it. But as far as, that's not a money thing. That's just like a fun thing to do. Yeah. Oh, wait, like my film, seen in 62 countries, available. Kathy Griffin, A Hell of a Story, available in 62 countries on Vimeo, and Amazon. Anyway,
what
so
a hell of a story too.
Did you like it?
Oof.
I know, it's a story. And so, I'll try to do that. Like after I was, canceled after the Trump picture, I did a world tour, which I'd never been able to do. I made the film, which won a bunch of awards, which just means a lot to me. And I love that people can see it, especially in 62 countries, especially in countries where it's not so easy to be out and proud and out and gay, and countries where they don't have pride and all that other stuff. So that's very, very gratifying. So I'm just going to keep doing stuff like that. I mean, as far as money gigs, I'll be honest, I got nothing coming down the pike, and I don't know what's coming down the pike, but I'm just going to keep trying and trying and trying and hustling and hustling. And, I write down comedy stuff all the time, every day. And I don't know about you, but my sort of thing is like, I'm kind of like ready. You know what I mean? Like I don't have an outlet at this moment, but I am not kidding. If HBO called, I could do a 2-hour special tomorrow. So
awesome.
I'm just sort of always, I'm just in the mode of like, just be ready.
That's it. Be prepared.
Something.
Yeah.
I've been tested more times.
Universe, HBO.
I've been tested 3 times. Yeah, please, thank you. Put it in the universe. All right, so have you been tested for COVID and or antibodies?
I have not.
Okay, so I'm just, I'm a naysayer on the antibodies. I've read they've been kind of debunked a lot, but I did get the COVID test 3 times. 3 negatives, but the big one was when I went 4 weeks between a negative and a negative. And I went to the free drive-through ones that they have all over Los Angeles and in other countries. And now I'm plugging a charity, CORE, C-O-R-E, and they work with LA County, and they have them all over the city. So I, didn't, trust me, I got no celebrity fancy test. I waited in line like everybody else, swabbed, and it was easy. So I do want to tell people, everybody should just get a test, at least in LA County or maybe where you are. You can keep looking it up. Free, easy, fast, and just makes you feel better.
Did you have symptoms?
I actually was hospitalized. And I was hospitalized at a time when the CDC rules were so strict. They would only even test you. And I was even put into the COVID ward of the ER because they were like, they just looked at me and they're like, okay. And then I didn't happen to have the lungs filled, the cough, and one other thing. And I had everything else. So it was really fascinating watching sort of teams of doctors come in. And I really felt, I mean, this was in March. Okay. So this is now worlds away, but I could really feel the doctors like pained looks on their faces. Like, can't we just freaking test this woman?
Yeah.
And then they straight up said, I said, well, what do you want to do? Because initially they said, oh, we want to test you and your husband, because we've been living together and I had symptoms and all this stuff. And so I then got another thing that I went through and was treated for. And luckily for me, I never got the respiratory version. And so I'm one of those people that I might have had it, but I can't definitively say I had it. But what I had was not the simple cold or flu, because I've had those. I've had walking pneumonia. And I think if I hadn't gone to the hospital that night, I don't think I would have been able to make it. So I know.
2020 has really sucked. Really.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
We're halfway through.
What are you watching? Like, are you like a binger? We
were watching Hulu the other night, and we just finished Dead to Me on Netflix with Christina Applegate.
Ooh.
It's very good.
Okay.
We like that one a lot.
Okay, so here's the one that I'm worried about. Everyone tells me Ozark is really good.
Very good.
And I watched 2 episodes, and for some reason, at this time in history, I was like, it's too dark for me. It's too dark. So, and I would not have said that 6 months ago.
But it's so good. It's really good. I think.
Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going back for Laura Linney. I'm going back for Laura Linney.
Great. Jason Bateman is great. I mean, the whole thing is great. Yeah.
Okay.
Give it another shot.
I will.
Darling, I got a bolt, but I love you, and I can't thank you enough for coming on and joining us for GAYGOODNEWS.
Thank you for facilitating a way for LGBT folks to celebrate. I mean, look, we don't know. Hey, if there's any LGBT folks that are hiding in their closet watching this on the computer because you've been told it's not okay to be gay, we're here for you. We love you. We see you. We hear you. We know you're there. So thank you for doing this, Thomas.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. Get it? Proud of you. Pride.
All right, bye, sweetheart.
Bye.